Alright guys, welcome back. So at the end of the last session we ended up with a bunch of errors loading up when we opened up the MPC record, and it's due to not so much with the tabs, but the fact that when the tabs are referencing content that should be in here and that content doesn't exist just yet. So that's where we're going to just kick this off. Let's dive into the XML first. So we've got this frame record content tabbed, name equals content frame, and we can see that the formatted text is anchored to the content frame, and I'm pretty sure that this sub-window record, well, let's search on this one. We'll do a find in files, and we'll do it on the 5e rule set first. And what we're looking for is not so much where we've got a sub-window record with a name at the end of it, we're looking for a template. Okay, we don't see that template anywhere. One way we can do to speed that up is if we put a quote mark at the end. You'll see why in a sec. If we change this to core RPG instead, template name equals. Alright, great. So template name sub-window record is anchored to content frame. Okay, so again, this is referencing content frame. If we go back to the previous tab, this is content frame up here. So this sub-window record for NPC combat is anchored to this content frame. Alright, and we've got a frame record content tabbed. We want to find that now. So let's search that one. We'll try in 5e first. And again, we've got a bunch of records using this template. We want to find the actual template. Here it is. There's the template frame record content. Okay, and now this is what we're after. We've got a left offset of 15, a right offset of 30, a bottom offset of 20, and it's anchored to the top plus 7 pixels. So the top of, or to the bottom of header, which is at the top, right? And header, we need to, okay, so these are the dimensions that we're after. 7, 15, minus 30, minus 20, and we also have some extra offset for the header here. So let's go back into the Ruleset Wizard. That's not it. Okay, the Ruleset Wizard here. We want something called content frame, and it's a sub window. So we're going to grab a sub window here, and we're going to bump it right up against the edge, go right up to the top. We can see here the x position 0, y 0. So we know that the x was going to be 15, that's 15 from the left. We know from the top it was going to be 7, but it's 7 plus the height of the top frame. And I'm just going to guess at that for the moment, put that at 37. And that's great. Now, what we need to also do is get us to be 30 pixels off the right edge. Now, we don't have that option. What we can do here is, if we select that control, I'm just going to lock it for the moment, just so I don't accidentally drag it around. We know that this is 460 wide, minus 15, and minus 30. So 460 minus 45, so it should be 415 wide. If we do that, 415 wide, and we set the horizontal anchors to left and right, so as this page stretches, this will stay 30 pixels from this edge and 15 from this edge. And we also want to get this to go right to the bottom. Now we know that this frame is 550 tall. We wanted 20 off the bottom and 37 off the top, so that's 57. So this should be in height. What's that, 493? Looks about right. And we want to, again, set the anchors to top and bottom. I changed this horizontal anchor to right, which is incorrect. It should be both, left and right. We want the left to stay anchored to the left and the right to stay anchored to the right. Alright, and we also need to give this a name, and it's content frame. Alright, first step. And what we also need to do now is create some new window classes, and we need 2 new window classes. Those window classes are related to the ones that we created here. So we need a sub-window called journal and a sub-window called people. So we're going to create a window class here. Now, we've got a size here, 493 and 415. We're going to use those. So create a new window, height 493. Don't know what I was clicking there, and width was what was it? 415. All right, and we're going to give this a name here of journal, and we're going to make a copy of this record, and we're going to call this one people. And just so that we know which is which, we will add a label. Drag a label in here, and we'll bump it right up in the top corner, and we're going to make the text journal, people. We're going to give it a name. Everything should be named. We're going to call it people label, and we're going to choose a font, and the font will be reference H. Okay, and that should be fine. It's anchored left and top, that's okay. We can copy that record into journal. When we copy and paste something, it always drops it with an offset of +10 left, sorry, +10 right and +10 down. So we just move it back 10 pixels each way, and this one is going to be journal, and it's going to have a name of journal label, and we shall publish that and see if that gives us an error-free experience. It might not. Okay, reloading. Alright, table's nearly loaded. Okay, we're going to clear our console and close it, and I'm going to open up Glassstaff. And we still got some errors, so we need to find out what else we've done wrong here. Let's dive in and see what we can find. Normally these errors would be quite useful, but this is referring to a script, line 62, and it's looking to index a field with question mark. So without being really quite intimate with these scripts, it might take a while to debug that one in that route. Okay, so I think our first error is that frame record content tabbed is a generic control. It's not a sub-window. So let's fix that first. Let's make it a generic control. We have an object over here somewhere called custom control. We'll drag that up here and almost to the same dimensions, and then we can tweak it. Alright, so it should be, height was 493, the 15 from the left, 37 from the top, and the width was 415. Okay, that's great. And it needs to be called content frame. And we've got another object called content frame. That's not correct. This should be called let's call this one sub journal, and subjournal with a class name of journal. So that's a sub window. The sub window contains the journal content. I think that's fine. And then we're going to duplicate subjournal, and remember it's offset by 10 and 10. First we'll just change its name to people, and sorry, the window class to people and the sub window to sub people. Then we will fix up this anchoring. Okay, let's go back to our tabs. Oh, we can lock these records first. These tabs, if we go here, sub window name. Okay, there should be sub people, sub journal. Let's see if we've got this right. Publish that. We'll reload that. Okay, we'll clear and close our console. Okay, we made some progress. So people and other are working or are showing up. Not quite. Okay, so people, we can see here that we need a little bit more spacing in our sub window. It needs to be probably another 10 pixels off the top. And our other tabs haven't appeared, and we can also see our font is not really that great a match. We might work on that at another time. Okay, let's see if we can fix why the rest of these aren't loading up. Trial and error, yes, there's absolutely some trial and error going on here. We're coding in somebody else's coding space, and there's been a lot of change going on in the core RPG and 5e rule sets in the last couple of revisions. So what we're going to do is, this is correct, we can try a merge on here and merge replace. But let's just also check what we've got here. Tab main, tab other, tab log, tab people. Okay, I think what we might have to do is, we've got sub people, sub journal, we've got main creature, okay. I think that our record here, with this record here, might be somewhat, I don't think this is working in the way that our code changes are working. What we're going to try and do is add a new sub window record in here. Okay, and to replace this one. So we're going to delete the FT record text. We'll do that first. Or actually what we'll do is just replace it. No, we need to delete, we need to replace this one. Okay, but we're not going to replace it with a formatted text record. First thing we'll do is we'll create another one of these. Position it over, we'll go sub text, and the class name will be text, and we will grab our people page, we'll create a copy, we'll call this copy text, we will change this label to be text label, and text. Which is not quite right, and that's the frame. What we need here is a formatted text control. So we'll quickly drop one of these in here. We'll bump it up here. Height was about 463, width 415, okay, let's see what, and we'll call this text. That might not work. Okay, this needs to be called we need to give this a different name, text class. We'll try that for the moment. What we need to do is back on NPC, our subtext class name should be text class. Whoops. Reloading. Alright, new table, loading this up. Okay, that worked. Okay, we haven't quite got it worked out because we didn't add any extra space in here. But we've got our main tab, our other tab, we've got our log, and our people tab. So a couple of hiccups along the way there, but that has actually worked. And I think that we'll wrap that video up just now, and we'll pick up again shortly.